Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Cbuilt podcast. We had a fantastic response from episode 1, so we decided to do another episode. And today we're going to get in depth of how the industry has actually changed in the past 2 to 5 years, especially because I noticed since I've been in the game, that's probably been the biggest change in 2 to 5 years' time. So ever since COVID, obviously, COVID was a huge game changer, and everything that came after it, inflation, interest rate rises, the economy's starting to slow a little bit. So I decided to get Brett Blake from Bowen's Epping, and he's at the forefront of all of this too, and sees what's happening in the industry. He sees sales, he sees a lot of things, and a different side of what a builder actually sees too. He sees other builders come in, he sees other reputable builders and not so reputable builders. So I decided to get Brett Blake on here today, so it should be a good episode.
Do you want to actually maybe share a little bit more about, just quickly, the listeners might not know about who Bowens are and your relationship with them and how long it's been going?
Yeah, so Bowens is a supplier, so timber supplier, weatherboards, any doors, any hardware, anything relating to building a home. Pretty much Bowens has got it. So they pride themselves on having a representative for each builder, meetings on site to discuss application, and any sort of finer detail that is required to be able to use the product, and they just support in particular small businesses like us. So they've been really good in the past 10-15 years with us, and they've actually seen us evolve over the years. We've dealt with a lot of people from Bowens, so don't get me wrong, we've got other great suppliers, but Bowens in particular, and we know that Brett speaks well and is pretty passionate with Bowens, so we decided to get him on this episode.
So that'll be one key element of the episode. Then the second probably key part of the episode, we're actually going to debunk a bit of a myth, Clint, and that myth is that small builders are more expensive than bigger builders. Is that kind of? Yeah,
it's a funny one. I mean,
now don't give away all the answers now.
No, but no, that's definitely a funny one, and that's obviously a common misconception. Is that the word?
Yeah,
that is a good word.
It's a perfect word for that.
I suppose of small builders. So, but I actually recently had a client say to me, I was sort of teetering on whether I touch bases with you on social media or whether I get in touch or send an email because I just thought you were out of my league in terms of price. But that wasn't really the case. You get, there's obviously differences from each builder volume and small builder that we will go through later.
I think within that as well, we're going to be touching on, or we're going to be probably not just debunking that myth, but we're going to be referring a lot to that demographic of people that, like you said, are looking to build, have thought about it for a while, and maybe sharing a few things that they might not know before they follow through with that big decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Like in particular, we definitely do cater for the second or third home buyers and sort of the boutique market. But, everyone's in a different position. You never know what comes across on our desks.
Exactly. Let's get into the episode, guys.
G'day guys, I'd like to welcome our first podcast guest to the show, Brett Blake from Bowen's Epping.
Thanks for having me, Clint.
No worries, thank you. Mate, I just wanted to go over a few things. Bowens has been a great supporter of Cbuilt for the last 10-15 years, mate. First started dealing with your brother, Jason.
That's right, yeah, Jace. He's currently now at Melton.
So, beautiful. And introduced us to a lot of other reps.
Absolutely.
And in particular, a good supplier, WeatherTechs.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, we love to get the suppliers involved and the networking that we do with our suppliers and introduce them to guys like yourself and introducing their products on your builds. It's important for them, and I know they've done a fair bit of advertising with you guys as well. So
absolutely, we've been on their Designer Trends magazine.
Yep.
A few projects, a few builds have been on that. So it's been it's been excellent.
Absolutely. And I think and recently, just as recent as I think it was last year, you went on a trip to New Zealand, which was good. I think
I didn't go.
Cam went. So you
heard
drew
all
the
about
short
it,
straw on that one, but I believe it was a pretty good trip. And
there was no expense spared there, mate. That's for sure. So
there you go.
But no, that's but that's the most important thing about having a good supplier backing a builder is the support from the suppliers like yourself, and obviously your suppliers like WeatherTex and other big brands
and
like
these
that.
sort of things. I mean, I know obviously Gainsborough's helped you out with a lot of jobs as well. You're a big advocate for them, and I mean the Legion nowadays they call themselves. But yeah, I mean obviously without those sort of networking and the suppliers and those dual calls that we do, I mean that's probably what makes us a point of difference. We really do reach out to our suppliers and try and introduce as many innovative products as we can. We call it. We have an innovation team now, and I know you've sort of taken on a lot of different things, and we get the Simpson strong tie and all that sort of stuff. Those guys out to sort of see the builders on site, how it all happens on site, anything we can do to try and help builders in turn, build easier, save money, save costs on site. We're open to all those sort of suppliers. Okay, so
and that's the best thing about it. Sometimes you find it difficult to go into a lesson or a teaching class into the actual store. The best thing about what you guys do is actually bring those guys out to site, and they can actually showcase their product on site and get in touch with your rep or
absolutely.
Or their rep. And
100%. I mean, at the moment, obviously, your account manager. I'm the branch manager, obviously, at Bowens, and have known you for a long time and seen you sort of work through so many different account managers. And I think the mentality of those account managers never really changes. I mean, it's always about, them engaging with suppliers and getting them, getting those suppliers out to site to see you guys to obviously introduce new products, because, there's just so much of a range that we can sell, and it's pretty hard for those account managers to remember all those products. So if we can connect you with the suppliers, and when you're at that stage, straight away, bang, the alarm bells go off. Oh, Bowen's introduced me to this, Perma Timber. It might have been, we had Aaron Bishop out not long ago to a project, and we, used his product, and these sort of things.
You can really look into detail. You can get your head around application, how it's installed, how it's going to weather, or you have a good think about it prior to actually installing the product.
And I mean, these guys will come on site. I mean, you guys are very hands-on, which is fantastic, and we love those type of builders. And where we can actually get out on site, and we'll spend, where our suppliers in particular, we'll spend the first couple of hours of a morning, just the day after the stuff's been delivered, and work live with you on projects, which is fantastic. And that way, you're getting the right advice. And making sure you're obviously producing a quality build as you do.
Yep, definitely. So I suppose that brings me to the next question. How do you think, I mean, you've obviously watched us as a builder evolve over the last 10, 15 years. And I would say, because we're still dealing with you and we still have that good relationship, we're on the right path as a builder. How do you think the industry has changed since you've been actually working at Bowens? And where do you think builders are going? Are they improving in terms of their quality? Are they improving in terms of their profession?
Yeah, look, I think they have to. And I mean, not just yourself, Clint, but I think, you get left behind if you don't evolve. Innovation is a massive thing a massive part of Bowens at the moment. I mean, we're constantly bringing in new products. I mean, there's the new NCC regulations and things like that, but I mean, the new 7-star that we need to obviously abide to. I mean, we're constantly talking to suppliers all the time. I mean, we've got our own team that looks after that sort of, innovation team, and Andrew Healy leads that team, and he's fantastic at what he does, and getting these people and our reps, our account managers, engaging with those suppliers, getting them out to see you guys, making sure that we're ranging those products at our stores, and making sure that we've got all those offers for the builders to evolve, because it's simply you can't be left behind.
No, you can't.
You've got to continue to evolve.
You've got to evolve with
and the builders that do get left behind, I think, they're the ones that are going to, sort of, I guess, struggle into the future and probably not keep up, because things are definitely changing, and we're constantly growing and constantly introducing new products into our range, and things like that. So Yeah, I mean, and you guys are really great with that. I mean, we'd call you guys a very innovative builder, open to new products and, and there's still the old school builders out there that they're probably, you really got to push these products onto a bit more. But I think, more and more people are starting to open up.
Absolutely.
In the industry.
I think it's good because, I'll mention many times throughout this podcast that we've got that element of old school too.
Yeah.
But then also open to new products and which is good. It's a good sort of...
Yeah, it is a good mix. I mean, and look, we still love those old school guys and, they're great characters.
Yeah.
And, they've been fantastic builders in the industry for a long time. And,
Yep.
yeah, and we've learned so much off these guys, and we'll continue to remember those things that we've learnt. But again, we don't want those guys to be left behind. We want everyone to evolve and the industry to continue to thrive.
Yep.
Yeah, because obviously we thrive on the industry, we thrive on the builders to be successful, and we want to be selling them as much products as we can because, this is what we do. So
Absolutely. So, I mean, as you mentioned, it's been a challenging past few years, and I would say probably the 2 to 5 years has been probably the most challenging since I've been around, and I've been in this game. But I remember even the bulk buying of products started back. What was it in 2020?
just after COVID, I think
COVID.
we of the not being able to obviously. The pine in particular, pine and LVL was massive,
and the price just skyrocketed overnight. I mean, I remember I even spoke to you and on the phone, and you were saying, "Mate, I think you better buy buy bulk." And I was like, "Mate, you're crazy, Brett. What are you talking about? Like as if I've got to buy But sure, here I was buying bulk timber and storing it, just like everyone was buying bulk toilet paper. During COVID.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
And the timber wasn't always available. So I mean, at the time, I know that you had some projects coming up, and you needed, I think it was some LVL at the time, and we sort of said, look, we're just going to have to schedule these packs in.
Yeah.
And if you don't, when the time comes that you need it, you may not be able to get it.
You may not get it.
And it was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time.
We had to obviously, try and support the network of builders that we did have. And if we didn't, what would happen? You know what I mean? What would happen to those builders?
I think builders have a long memory too. So
everyone's got a long memory.
Everyone's got a long memory. And if you're helping, because Brett, you helped us out.
Absolutely.
And a lot of our suppliers
I appreciate you saying that.
A lot of our suppliers did. And you know what? I remembered that, and I said to you, mate, don't worry, I'll look after you. When we come out of this, don't worry, we'll look after each other.
Yeah, no, we did form great relationships, and we're seeing that now. And not only with yourself, Clint, and Cbuilt, but also, with some of our other small to medium sized builders, they're very grateful for what we did do during those times, and it was some tough times, and we had to make some tough decisions. I mean, had, obviously, Bowen's obviously had a lot of, builders would come to us that we hadn't heard of. Yeah. And we basically had to turn around and say, look, I'm sorry, we haven't got the timber, because it was allocated to the customers that we already had, and we had to have some difficult conversations. Yeah. And it was tough. Absolutely. It was tough on the team. It was tough on our team, but
I would say this, if I hadn't have been dealing with you for as long as I had prior to then, you probably would have had to have done the same to me.
Absolutely. You could have been in a situation too, and this is why it's important, I think, to have relationships, because you just don't know when things can happen in the industry. Yeah. And when you need to, obviously turn to one another and get that little bit of help, I suppose. So, for you guys now to be in a situation where you've been able to get through some tough times, is purely the fact that you had those relationships. Because if you didn't have those relationships, perhaps maybe you wouldn't have got the timber. Perhaps maybe you wouldn't have been able to build those projects and finish those projects off, more importantly.
Yeah. Prices skyrocketed, as I said, overnight. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think things have timber sort of started to settle down now, which is good.
It is settling down. But I think timber was, what do you think? In terms of percentage, I can't remember. It was like 30, 40% dearer?
There was some, obviously... Yeah,
across the board, on average.
Yeah, I think around about that. It was these sort of
doubled.
It was definitely if you're going back many years ago, you could have looked at it and said, Jesus, pine's kind of doubled in price. You know, and at times it looked like it had. Yeah. But obviously the market was short. We had to buy a lot of imported timber, which is at a massive cost to the business. And hence obviously, everyone essentially, it came down the line,
it was shipping. Shipping was an issue.
Shipping was
backlog
major
in
issue.
shipping.
Pricing was
and a
massive.
lot of the studs like Storenzo.
That
comes
we
from
were getting timber
that's
from
Europe.
We can get timber.
Scandinavia. What is it? Scandinavia.
Yeah, we had to get it from wherever we could get it from.
Everywhere.
To be honest,
Yeah.
So
It's interesting.
just to keep timber in the yard.
Yeah, and then a lot of the forestries in Victoria are closing down too.
Yeah, it didn't help.
Didn't help.
Yeah, so
so
we were lucky at Bowens. We have got a good network of timber producers, and we continue to work really closely with those guys now. And without those guys supporting us, I mean, we would have been stuffed in those times.
Absolutely, yeah, and same with us.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to, as you know, steel frame on
Yeah.
a little portion of it.
Yep.
Which worked okay, but we love timber.
Yeah,
I'm a chippy by trade,
100%,
and we love our timber, and
Yeah.
that's never going to go away. If that goes away, then I think
No, that's
the
it.
industry is going to go backwards. But I mean, obviously, along with that, during COVID, after COVID, a lot of negativity has been circulating on builders struggling, and I suppose, like as I'm going to touch bases in this podcast, is restoring some confidence back into the buyer and the investor.
I think
whoever it is. But what's your I mean,
I feel on that at the moment. I think I see we still feel like our core group of customers are really have gotten through some tough times, and I think they've probably gotten through the toughest of it. I feel like at Bowens, we're still dealing at Epping, with a lot of the builders that we were dealing with prior to the pine shortages, prior to COVID, and they've been able to sort of get through it. Yeah, they've had some pretty tough times and some lean times as well, but I guess the main thing is that we've been able to support those guys through that, and fortunately for us now, obviously the industry it changes all the time. I've been in this industry for 27 years working for Bowens, and there's been so many times that I've sort of seen things drop off and then they spike up again, and to be honest, I think I feel like from a Bowens point of view, we've got I see enough builders out there now that chipping away and still continuing. It's all about a positive attitude. If you've got a positive attitude and a positive outlook, the work will come. If you and you guys are proud of what you do, and you got to continue to fly that flag. And I think it's the ones that have the negative attitude and probably they're the ones that probably aren't going to get through this. You know what I mean? Like, and they're probably the ones that don't get through these times. But those that have a good, strong, positive attitude, good customer relationships, great rapport with their customers and clients, they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
I think we're sort of seeing.
I think, like, as you mentioned before, Bowens, Epping, or I think majority of the Bowens, Bowens Croydon has got a brand new branch in there, and that's
Croydon's not that old. This is the thing. Bowens is continuing to evolve all the branches. We currently at Epping are going through a major rebuild, a massive extension on the back of the existing sheds, basically doubling our footprint, all undercover. It's going to be a fantastic hub to pick up from for the builders. So these are the sort of things that we're doing in the background, making sure that we are the best supplier in the industry and certainly in the state. That's for sure. So
you pop in an order. What were you saying the other day? Pop in an order before 10
a.m. You get a delivery that day. Yeah, same day deliveries. We're marketing now all over our socials. Another thing that we're really pushing is you guys, time is money, and obviously you don't want to leave site if you don't have to. And you can basically get online now and request an Uber delivery. For anything that's boxed under 20 kilos. So like if you needed some hardware on site and you're struggling to you want to sort of you've got a few meetings on site and you can't leave, bang it in an Uber, $10. These are the sort of things we're doing at Bowens. So
there you go.
We've partnered with Uber.
But even see, that's great. See, like even track your vehicle. When the delivery's there, you press the link because I get a text and then you can see the GPS where the actual truck is. That was when that came out. I was like, this is this is good. This is
Yeah.
exactly what you need. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't mind going to the yard though. I mean,
Yeah, look, I love you guys coming in to pick up. You know,
yeah.
come in, grab a coffee, grab a pie on a Tuesday.
Well, I know Cam. I mean, I know Cam loves it even more
And
than
on
I
a
do.
Friday morning, we've got the bacon and eggs cooking. So
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
get in there, mate. You know.
Yeah. Cam's more of the truck driver than I am.
Yeah,
but,
he doesn't mind a pie, Cam.
yeah. But that's good, mate. Look,
But and to be honest, I mean, once we get this place, I mean, at the moment it's a little bit hectic at Epping. We like with the renovations going on, but once we do get this place built, you guys, you'll be able to get in there and get out really quickly. You know, call ahead. We'll have our own express pickup bay. It's just going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
and I think that's just going to really make a big difference to you guys getting in and out quickly.
Yeah.
Is what we're all about.
that's awesome, mate. No, look, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, mate.
No worries.
First guest. I knew you'd speak well, mate. So,
I've been told I've got a good head for radio, but anyway.
but no, I appreciate that, mate. And book me in for the next trip to Queenstown, mate.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. Good on you. Cheers.
Thanks, Brett. All right, great chat with Brett Blake from Bowens, manager of Bowens Epping, and I hope some other builders got a bit of information out of that, and other carpenters have got some useful information out of that. So now it's time to go over to our next segment.
We're debunking a myth for this next segment, Clint. So there's something that goes around the industry, or definitely in media circles, and that is smaller builders are more expensive than bigger builders. Now, as someone who, I'm not from the industry, I don't specifically know the ins and outs of this, but this is where we want your expertise, being a small builder yourself. Is that true?
Yeah, look, I mean, it is a funny one. Like, I know, when we price a job, we like to try and include everything, and not give the clients, unwanted surprises at the end, or whether it's throughout. We try and add as much as, and sure, there's going to be extras. There probably most likely will. We try to do that with our contracts and with our builds. But I know the way that the other builders, like the volume builders, try and sell their houses is to have it really quite lower end and cheap, and attractive. Price is always attractive. But then you gain, they make their money on the extras, and they might charge a ton for excavation or so forth. So
are you saying there's like that the people maybe looking to get into the industry, or looking to get into the market, be wary of things that might not be in front of you early, but later on there might be some hidden costs potentially? Look,
I mean, I suppose you've got to be wary in every sense. So big builders and small builders, but yeah, I mean, I think and I don't want to talk negative on the volume builders, because they have a good niche market for themselves, and it could work. That build price could work for that particular client, but you've got to be somewhat wary when you're signing up to either any builder, I suppose. But yeah, I definitely think. I mean, there's been many times that we've heard from clients that, we got a price from a volume builder so and so, and to be honest, your price actually wasn't too bad considering what your inclusions were and the quality of the build. Mind you, you do get what you pay for. You've got to value that too. You have to value your the expertise from a smaller builder. You have to value your one-on-one communication to the builder. You're speaking with a volume builder. It could be 5 builders throughout the whole build. There is a value to all of that. There's a value to directors putting on their nail bag. There's a value to meetings with the actual directors. There's a value to meetings with or seeing the exact same carpenter on the job throughout the whole build. And there's a value to the administration and the personal touch that small builders have. So you need to value all of that.
What are some? That's really interesting and really, really good points. What are they? Besides those, are there any other comparisons to small and big builders that we might not know about, the differences?
I'd say build quality, straight up build quality. And that's pretty much that's pretty much it. You know, the administration could be fine. Everything like that should be fine. It should be fine because they have a lot of staff behind them to be able to do the job. But yeah, build quality. I mean, when you're getting a personalised product, having the directors on site doing the work, not all the time, but majority of it, sometimes, and doing all those things that's.
Well, it's very different to someone going and buying just a house and land package and, getting something that, is probably like everyone else's, whereas, your business is more detail around what the specific customer wants. Is that probably another difference too? It's more specified.
Because we can do design and construct. Yeah. We're a custom builder, so then we can engage with someone from the start, which I highly recommend because recently it's a lot of architects design something that's really awesome to look at on paper, but has blown their budget, completely, either double or triple, and that's not just coming from me, that's coming from a lot of other builders who I've been speaking to as well. So if you design and construct from us from the first initial, from day dot, we can lead you on a path that's going to save you money, but build you something nice and reasonable that you're going to love. But you have to compromise somewhere. You definitely have to compromise. Either way, you need to compromise, and you need to, especially now recently, because build prices have skyrocketed. From the inflation, etc., what I've mentioned before. So, yeah.
Do you think that, 'cause obviously with the current economic climate, everyone's so wary of price, everything's so expensive. In the end, does it all kind of come out in the wash? And why I say that is, like, people obviously come to you and they go, okay, I want to build, this is how much it's going to cost. It might seem, whether it's pricey, I don't know, but compared to other larger builders, it all just kind of comes out in the wash anyway, and you get a really good finished product.
Yeah, well. Look, you speak to all of our clients, they're happy in the end. It's stressful because it is, as you said, it's the biggest investment, and it's stressful because it's not cheap. But in the end, when they're in the house, they're happy. Everything just goes away.
Yeah.
So when the kids start loving the build and enjoy the home, then how couldn't you be happy?
What about something else that, to finish off, someone who comes to you, right? Let's do a bit of a, a bit of role play. I'm coming to you, Clint, and I go, I've never built before. Me and my partner, we want to build. We're both probably around, 25 to 30 years old. Mm-hmm. We find you on Instagram, we get your number, we give you a call. What should I be wary of when it comes to wanting to build a home?
Designing,
and building a home.
First of all, you've got to be realistic with your budget and be honest too. We're not going to, whether it's a low end budget, high end budget, we're not going to. You know, to be honest with the builder from the start and the designer from the start. Then we will build and have expectations, but don't have too high expectations, especially now. The past 3 years, 5 years has probably doubled. Probably 10 years probably doubled in price, and build costs. So what you got a decade ago is sort of like, you're not really going to get that now.
That's crazy.
So it is crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. But that's just the way it is. So you need to be honest with your budget. And we're here to help. We will tell you where you can save money on. You can't watch the block and think that it can all be done for that cheap, and it can be done like, however you want it. There's just the block has put sort of I don't know, without going too far, unrealistic expectation into a lot of people's heads, but without going too far, because I don't want Channel 9 to come after me saying that I'm giving him negative.
No, but it does make sense. Like, it does.
So you need to be honest with your budget. You need to value our opinion and value designer's opinion too.
Well, the myth is now debunked, Clint. So we now have a greater understanding. I hope all you listeners and watchers have a better view on what it takes to to build your first home and what really goes into designing a home as well. And when it comes to picking your builder, you know what to do. Clint, it's been an awesome second episode. It was a great chat with Brett. How did you find today's chat?
No, really good, mate. I mean, I'm hoping most important, a lot of these things I talk about on a day-to-day basis with Brett and with other builders and carpenters. So, to actually put it in front of a lot of people, and hopefully a lot of people have got some good information, valuable information out of it, and it helps them. Well,
there you have it, guys. If you're not already, make sure you go and follow Cbuilt over on the socials. Clint, where can they find you?
Yeah, look, www.cbuilt.com.au, and especially on our Instagram page. Instagram is showcasing a lot of our work on that page, which I'm just, I love Instagram. I think it's been great for the business. And thank you very much for Slices Doreen once again.